Imagine waking up from a beautiful dream and learning that Starship has been launched into orbit. How would that make you feel? It would be an incredibly exciting and somewhat scary experience. These scenarios wouldn't just be imaginary if there were no government obstacles. Despite these challenges, some optimists wonder if SpaceX will send Starship into orbit this month. Unfortunately, it seems no one wants to answer that question. So, let's break it down into two smaller questions. Is Starship prepared to launch this month? And if so, will it be permitted to do so? To address the first question, we can look to insiders for insights. About a month ago, SpaceX's founder, Elon Musk, hinted at an answer. On September 6th, he posted a tweet saying, "Starship is ready to launch, awaiting FAA license approval." This tweet generated a lot of excitement. As we explore what SpaceX has been through over the last few months, it's clear that significant progress has been made. 5 months ago, on April 20th, SpaceX conducted Starship's first orbital test flight using the S-24 and B-7 prototype. This marked the first integrated flight, combining the Starship's second stage and the Super Heavy first stage in flight. It set records as the largest rocket prototype ever, standing at 120 meters tall with a 9-meter diameter. Unfortunately, this impressive flight only lasted 4 minutes. Such setbacks can happen even to the best of us, though I'd like to think not to me. These challenges identified several problems, notably in the separation system. SpaceX intentionally destroyed the spacecraft to prevent further issues, highlighting the need for a more reliable separation mechanism. They've since implemented a hot staging system to address this. Another issue was with the engines, particularly ignition and hydraulic systems. These problems led to engine failures. SpaceX made adjustments to enhance their durability and reliability. They also introduced an electric TVC system to replace the hydraulic unit for more efficient operation. The launch system suffered damage as well, leading to a deep hole under the orbital launch mount and debris scattering. SpaceX responded by introducing a water deluge system, which will help reduce heat and pressure from the engines. It's made from super durable steel to withstand the engine's thrust. Despite all these challenges, SpaceX has made numerous changes, with over 1,000 upgrades. They're currently preparing for a wet dress rehearsal. While Starship is ready for launch, it still awaits approval from the FAA. SpaceX has addressed most of the FAA's required corrections, with only a few remaining. But there's another hurdle to overcome. The Fish and Wildlife Services, FWS, needs to conduct their assessment, which could take several months, pushing the potential launch date into 2024. In conclusion, Starship is technically ready to launch, but regulatory hurdles may delay it. Despite these obstacles, SpaceX's progress is commendable. So, while we may have to wait a bit longer, the excitement of seeing Starship reach orbit remains on the horizon. During those 4 minutes, S-24 and B-7 caused many issues for SpaceX. The most significant problem was the explosion and damage to the launch pad, along with dust and debris. While most might see this as a failure, it can be seen as a valuable learning experience for SpaceX. It highlighted problems with the Starship project, with the main issue being the separation system. The old separation system had several flaws. It failed during the flight, causing the 2 stages to remain connected. If the flight had continued, it would have been very dangerous. To prevent this, SpaceX deliberately destroyed the spacecraft above the Gulf of Mexico. The old system also had other drawbacks. Ideally, during separation, the Super Heavy engines should stop, the 2 stages should separate, and the upper stage's engine should activate. However, this process caused a brief loss of thrust, affecting flight performance. To address this, SpaceX introduced the hot staging mechanism. This mechanism involves using a ring with vents between the 2 stages. These vents help disperse the engine's energy and prevent damage to the stages. As a result, the second stage can activate earlier while still attached to the first stage, maintaining continuous thrust. This upgrade makes the separation process simpler and more reliable. Elon Musk has emphasized the significance of this system, with expectations of a 60% success rate for the next flight, a 10% increase from the previous one, largely due to this new separation method. In the previous flight, there were significant engine issues after the spacecraft left the orbital launch mount, OLM. Some of the engines on the Super Heavy didn't work correctly. This happened because the ignition system and hydraulic unit system had problems. These issues caused other engines to stop working as well. The main reason behind these engine troubles was the nozzle system manifold and hot air ducts being affected by the large energy generated by the engine. This led to fuel leaks, which ultimately caused the engine to fail and lose control. SpaceX has taken steps to address these problems. They have reinforced and replaced the parts that were causing the issues, making them more durable and capable of withstanding the heat and pressure generated by the engine, preventing fuel leaks. They've also improved the ignition system for better reliability when starting the engine. Additionally, they've designed a new electric TVC system to replace the hydraulic unit system, making the engine operate more efficiently and reliably. Now, let's talk about the launch system, which showed the most significant effects from the April flight. After that flight, a deep hole appeared under the OLM. This was caused by the powerful thrust of the Raptor engines. Besides the hole, there was also concrete debris flying around, causing damage to nearby facilities, especially at the tank farm. The fuel tanks had noticeable dents. To address this issue, SpaceX's engineers created a water deluge system under the OLM. This system consists of a hexagonal steel plate connected by 7 smaller steel plates. When the engine is activated, water is pumped from supply tanks to these steel plates through a pipe system. The water then sprays up through small holes in the steel plate. This helps reduce the heat and pressure produced by the 33 Raptor engines. The steel plate is made from super durable steel to withstand the engine's thrust and ensure the safety of the OLM and the surrounding infrastructure. In addition to the 3 upgrades I mentioned earlier in the past few months, SpaceX has made many other changes, totaling over 1,000, as Elon Musk noted. Currently, SpaceX is preparing for a crucial test known as the wet dress rehearsal, expected to happen in the next few days. With these enhancements, Musk aims to answer the question, is Starship ready for launch this month? The answer is a definite yes, as SpaceX is fully prepared to launch Starship, perhaps not today, but in the near future. However, it's essential to remember that while Starship is well prepared, it still lacks approval from the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration. Despite SpaceX addressing the 63 required corrections set by the FAA, the agency's approval is pending. On September 10th, SpaceX reported the completion of 57 of these corrections, with the remaining 6 to be tackled in future flights. But here's the catch. The FAA isn't the sole agency responsible for evaluating and permitting SpaceX. The Fish and Wildlife Services, FWS, also play a role in this process. Even though SpaceX has demonstrated their corrective actions to the FAA, the FWS remains focused on conducting a separate assessment of Starship's recent upgrades. This evaluation is expected to take several months, specifically a period ranging from 35 to 130 days, starting in October. It's worth noting that the shortest estimated time for this evaluation is 35 days, which extends beyond a month, beginning in October. In the best-case scenario, Starship's next flight won't happen this month, and considering the often slow pace of government agencies, it might not occur this year, likely extending into 2024. So, to answer the big question, will Starship get the green light to launch this month? Sadly, the answer we've received, both me and many others, is a no. It seems we might have to wait a few more months to witness Starship soaring into the sky at Boca Chica and reaching orbit. But let's not be disheartened by this delay. Instead, we should be proud of SpaceX's progress over time. They've made positive changes and continuous improvements to Starship and its systems. SpaceX excels at learning from challenges and making necessary upgrades. These efforts have made Starship always ready for launch. However, we still face obstacles from the FAA and FWS, and the waiting game continues. But that's okay. We've been on this journey with Starship for a while, so a few more months won't deter us. In fact, the anticipation will only make our eventual success all the more exhilarating. And with that, we conclude our show for today. We hope you enjoyed the insights into SpaceX's developments. If you'd like to support our channel and access exclusive content, please consider becoming a patron by clicking the link in the description below. It's as shiny as the stars in the sky. Your generosity and passion for space exploration are greatly appreciated.